All right, got a listener question. Thought it might be kind of fun to chat about. Can you make a video about teaching someone new how to press the trigger without throwing rounds? I know the answer is dry fire, trigger control, speed, etc. But I was on the struggle bus with a guy a couple days ago who was very right or low right and couldn't get him squared away. He is wrong, Joel-handed.
All right, so he's having issues with marksmanship.
Yep. What do you got? What do you got for him?
Man, some of the stuff is word games.
Okay.
We have to, I think first, if you're having issues with trigger control, a good place to start is just, like, depending on the level of shooter, it's just, like, the slow, deliberate rolling the pressure on. You make the shot with no time limit.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we work on just increasing the time, or the, like, how quickly you're rolling on the pressure to make him do it more and more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, you're going to start doing one of these, like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And then you try to, like, fight through that level of anticipating or pushing into the gun.
Right. So I'm reading into the question a little bit, but what it sounds like to me is we've got a guy who's struggling to press through the trigger and associate the mistakes that are happening with what's going on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not making the cause and effect connection.
Yes.
So at that point, I completely agree. We're gonna I hate this term, but we're gonna slow it down, have him press the trigger with no time limit, and confirm like, hey, can he send rounds where he needs to, in order to, like, by just pressing straight through with no time limit. And then, like, one of the ways I like to do it is then I implement a par time. So I'll set a par time up, and it'll be like, on the beep, we're going to start, and at 1 second, you've got to have the trigger broke before then. Do a few rounds, drop it by a few tenths, a few more rounds, drop it by a few tenths. So now we're down to pulling the trigger in 0.5 seconds. And very, very quickly, within 10, 15 rounds, you're pulling the trigger. Basically, it becomes trigger control speed, and you're racing the beep to get the trigger pressed. Another thing that you can do that I like, that works really well for me, is I use that little bucket, the 3 lines.
Oh, the bucket drill.
Yeah, the bucket drill. Oh, everybody's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Unnecessary lines on a target. But it's just like 3 lines around like a focus spot, and the whole idea is I want you to pull the trigger, keep the rounds inside the bucket, don't let the red dot cross the bucket. There's no magic there. It's just that the lines give you an additional visual aid for the shooter to see if the dot is tracking down or crossing the lines. If it's crossing and leaving the bucket, then hopefully he's seeing what's happening, and now we start to associate with the feelings that are happening. Because ultimately what it sounds like is going on is we've got somebody who's pulling the trigger, but they're not aware of the mistakes they're making here that are causing the mistakes. So we've got to figure out how to make the cause and effect cycle. Once we do that, then fighting through how to break it becomes a much faster story.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a couple different places this kind of comes from. One, sometimes people don't like the kick or the recoil, so they know that it's gonna, and they want to fight it. Sometimes people don't like seeing the sight lift. Mm-hmm. So looking at the target, and the sight lifts, and once it makes sense. Once the sight's off the target, I need to push it to make sure it goes back on the target. But then they kind of get that out of sequence a little bit, where they know it's getting ready to lift, so they start to push before it lifts. So it's kind of a variety of issues. I think being able to, I'm of the mind, you could fight me on this one, I think everyone should be able to zero their own pistol. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people really, real talk, people struggle with that, where it'd be like, I think my gun's zero, would you check it?
Yep.
And I'm not saying it's even a necessary skill for, like, action shooting or, working with unhoused people or mostly peaceful protesters. But I feel like you should just be able to, like, slowly roll on the pressure, and not like the surprise break, not in the point that I'm so shocked the gun went off, but just rolling on the pressure and being able to, with no time limit, get a decent group or try to stack shots the best you can.
Just to say it another way, being able to zero your gun doesn't have a whole lot to do with shooting fast and accurate, but if you can't press through the trigger with no time limit well enough to stack 5 rounds and check if your gun's zeroed, the ability to do it under stress at speed is probably zero.
Thank you for paraphrasing much more effectively than what I said, in way less words.
That's what I'm here for.
Yes. So then once we figure it, be that, okay, now where's the problem? And normally for most people, it comes when you're trying to do it quickly.
Correct.
Is where the problem stems from. But some people still can't do it slow fire. And if that's the case, then I think I don't like the slowing down and getting your hits, but I'm of the mind everyone should be able to do that. So at least you could start with slow fire marksmanship.
I agree. Slow fire marksmanship to confirm, can he stack rounds where he wants them at a reasonable distance, 5, 7, 10 yards, doesn't matter. Can he stack rounds on a pacer or close to it with no time limit and no other stress? And then, like, one of the tricks I like to use is that timer where we slowly decrease the amount of time he has in order to get the trigger pulled. So we slowly back into doing it quicker, as opposed to we had no time limit, and then
it's as fast as you can pull the trigger.
Fast as you can pull the trigger.
It's like
it's hard to kind of suss out what's going on. So kind of slowly working in a time limit of like 1 second, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6. And like when you get down below 0.4, essentially most timers are 0.2 to 0.3 beeps. So at that point, you're just racing the entirety of the beep, whereas trigger control at speed, by that point, they should be making the associations to when I have a mistake, what's causing it. And once you made the association, now we can get into here's how you train that in dry fire. Recreate that in dry fire. See the problem initially in dry fire, because if you're not seeing the problem right off, you're not recreating the actual circumstances that are causing it. And then once you do that, then you can work through it.
Just happens to be a handgun here handy. So let's talk about it, and we'll make a bunch of clickety clacky noise. So like what he's saying is, if I can slow fire, baby, there we go. That doesn't mean I can do it fast.
Correct.
And then when I try to do it quicker, like I might start to do a little something. And then if I want to start with dry firing this, if I start with the dry fire of,
oh man, perfect.
I'm not recreating any issues. That's not even helping me in dry fire, honestly.
Right.
That's probably just proving that I already know how to do the slow fire stuff.
Yep.
So then initially it has to be wrong. So then initially I start to pull the trigger faster, and I notice it does just a little bit of movement or wiggle. Then it's like, okay, I'm annoyed that's happening, but at least now I know that I'm doing it the correct way that mirrors what I saw when I was shooting live ammo.
Right. When you tell somebody your dry fire should look wrong in the beginning, some folks hear it as do it intentionally wrong, and that's not the point. The point is when you initially start dry firing, it should look, and you should be recreating, or you should be seeing the same exact behavioral patterns or problems in dry fire that you have in live fire, because that tells you that you're doing it the same way. And now we figure out how to fix it in dry fire.
Yeah, so I think like throughout shooting, it's always a cause and effect loop. That's honestly, that's the best way I think to get better. Or if you can't do that, you're not going to get it better, because some people are just born where they can do the thing, but most people make a decent amount of mistakes. You're like, oh, this is what, wish I knew this before. And like I stopped doing that thing, and then I continue training, and then I'm doing this. I wonder why I'm doing that. Okay, don't do that anymore. It's just like, it's kind of a perpetual cycle of that, where you practice, you notice something that's happening you don't like, you try to find the root cause, try to eliminate or fix the cause, plans back to normal, you go faster, something else breaks.
Something else breaks. That's exactly right. Well, I think that pretty well covers this one.
I think so.
All right, guys. Appreciate your time. Hope that helps.
You're supposed to like, share, and subscribe. Smash that like button.
Or so it has been explained to me. So if you got any other questions, throw them down below. Appreciate your time. Hope that helps.
Boom.